Jordan, put your pants on. The Squirrely Squad's here. Come on in, Yins. Since our last shop tour, we've made a few upgrades in the shop, and I figured what a better time than to bring you guys back in for a 2021 version and talk about all the new stuff we got going on. So first things first, for those of you that are new here, I've got a 2020 shop tour where I go into a lot more particulars about a bunch of the tools here. So we're gonna breeze over some things, but if you're more interested and they've been here for a while, you can probably go back and get a little bit more info. First things first, center of the shop, the 5 horsepower industrial saw stop with the outfeed table. This thing is our workhorse here, and we've built a little bit of something new and fresh to help with the workflow for it. That's gonna be this beautiful, what we're calling a modular kind of shop storage cabinet. Mostly what we found was that myself, Sam, and Jordan are all slobs, and therefore things are always laying all over the place. We needed some way of organizing them. We've got all the saw blades in the storage over here with a couple new plates and brakes for the saw stop, our wrenches, and anything that would go with the table saw, boom, kind of directly behind it. And we can also store some stuff on top. This thing was awesome, and we've got a plan available for it, and now that I think about it, last year we did a bundle with an exclusive offer in the shop tour for anyone who wanted to buy it. We'll do the same thing at the end of this video, so stick around. Now come on over here. Don't peek! So moseying on down, we've got kind of this setup hasn't really changed much. We've still got the drill charging station, the toolbox is here, right next to, ooh, she's seen better days. Right next to our old girl, the good old outfeed table. I'm sorry. We'll clean you up someday, I promise. She's seen a few sunsets now. This thing is an absolute beast and one of everyone's favorite projects that's a fan of the channel. She's taken a beating since we put her in, and it's been awesome. The next new addition to the kind of this workflow area is gonna be this Festool cabinet here. Sam and Jordan went ahead and got this thing done while I was sipping waters on vacation this summer because pandemic and I couldn't do anything fun. But Jordan learned kind of how we construct and build cabinets, faceless cabinets, and this Festool system, if you've got sustainers, is awesome. There are drawers made specifically by Festool that have locks so they don't slide out, and then fit the sustainers perfectly. So it's small and subtle, but it's been really nice for our workflow. We don't take the sustainer to the bench anymore, we just take the tool that we need, and then it goes right back in. All of our small clamps are stored above it as well as some vintage freedom. So before we get into the back of the shop, let's talk about what is probably the most questioned aspect of 2021's or 2020's additions to the new shop, which is gonna be the new miter saw. Now I can't remember if this was in last year's shop tour, but we built this miter station here, and Sam and I kind of concocted a downdraft table and thought it would fix all of our dust issues with the old Bosch glider, and it didn't. Dust is just something that we don't like around a workshop, and so that is why we upgraded to the new 12-inch sliding Makita compound miter saw. It has, I would say, exponentially better dust collection, which is something that matters a lot to us in our workflow. The footprint of the Bosch is amazing, but when it comes to the trade-off of the footprint and then having dust everywhere, we decided to go with something that was a little bit better. And I also do think that it has some other better features as far as detents and usability on the front end of the saw. That saw was pretty old, comparably to what I think this guy design-wise is. And this has been awesome. So has the workstation, and I can't believe we ever built anything in here without having this miter saw station. Absolutely insane. Now moving down, we still have the 12-inch joiner planer combo that we have yet to use as a planer. We got another one. But right down next to it, at the same exact height as our miter station, is this router table. You guys have probably seen this year's content. And the one difference is we finally hooked up the electronic motor to raise and lower it. This whole table and assembly is made by MLCS. Really cool. Appreciate them supporting the channel. And I actually really, really like the electronic foot pump. Sam, what do you think about this?
That's the best part of it.
Yeah. We thought we wouldn't be too into it because it's slow, but it's just slow enough that I think it gives you enough micro adjustability that it doesn't actually slow down the workflow. So really cool product, and you can actually program it. There's a bunch of guys that have like things that they do consistently that they program into it. Really cool tool, and then we kind of have some bit storage above it. Continuing in the row of awesomeness here, we've got a spindle sander that needs a new spindle note, and then our edge sander, which came in a lot of handy for the 100 cutting boards that we did for the holiday giveaway. Really nice for cleaning up edges and squaring things. Very, I guess, like specific tool. It's not a need in every shop, but when you got one, boy, are you glad you have it. Moseying on Dan, mosey on Dan. All right, so we've got the next big adjustment here in the shop that you probably noticed isn't the same as 2020. But before we do that, I wanted to tell you about our brand new Squirrely Squad subscription. Because we love yins guys so much, and the Squirrely Squad happens to be the most awesome part of our audience, we've developed the Squirrely Squad subscription. Every month we're gonna be releasing a shirt that kind of mimics something that's cool or vintage or a logo or graphic or design based around the Squirrely Squad. You can sign up, get a discount. We also have a pretty cool welcome bundle that is just hyper specific stuff for any of yins that wanna be in the exclusive Squirrely Squad. Got a link down in the description if you wanna check it out. We love all of the support we get from all of you guys. And because you buy the crazy merch that we come up with, that's how we get to do these videos. So, thank yins. Now, back to the tour. So the next tool addition we've got here is this 20-inch bandsaw. We've been using this thing for resawing. We've got a nice 1-inch resaw blade on there. It's come in handy to have two big bandsaws in the shop. And I think there's been some content where you guys have seen this getting used. What we used to have here was a wall with a small CNC kind of next to it, and it kind of hubbed into there. We removed that, and then we ended up moving our clamp storage over here. There's a mobile rack somewhere. I don't know if that was in last, was that? We just built so much, we just have no clue what we've done. But, that being said, we built a mobile clamp rack for a lot of the stuff that we're using at the Alfie table and at the workbenches to kind of come back and forth. And I ripped that design off of a company that makes them. Easy weld, good project. We had to put a flame fire retardant cabinet in the shop because insurance didn't want to cover me. Bastards. And it has to sit on the ground. So we stuck it here. Doesn't really make sense there, but it's one of the only flat parts of the shop that we could put it in. Now, next big addition, enough boring stuff, is gonna be this old girl. Now this could be, and I think all three of us would vote on, the most terrifying tool in our shop currently to date. We are all incredibly respectful of the power in what a router actually is, and then take it and put it into a table, call it a shaper, and give it 5 horsepower, and that's what we've got here. And so this thing is wicked, but it's an awesome tool once you get to learn it. What we've got is a 5 horsepower industrial shaper, and the reason we got this is, I'll kind of tell you a little bit more about it when we get back to that secret room over there, is it just makes, I guess, large scale production a lot faster. It's like a router table on steroids for the most part. We've got these huge bits that go into it, and we're using it a lot for rails and stiles and door panels for the most part. But a lot of people use it for molding. You can see this is kind of one bit. They're pricey, and it's very much like a professional grade tool, super luxury for what we do. But we know all the professional cabinet shops are rocking something like this because they're just so much faster. You can run it forward and backwards, and what we've got here is a power feeder, so you don't put your hands anywhere near it, get squirrely and lose a finger. This thing's got forward and backward motor as well. It's really cool, and it's permanently mounted to the shaper. We hardwired it in because you guys know I like to have my drops around similar tools and workflow, so we've got power and we've got dust dropped right to the machine specifically. We've used it a little bit. We're gonna be using it a lot more in 2021, so super stoked to have this in the shop. So real quick, before we get into the rest of the goodies, I wanna thank this week's sponsor, Woodcraft, for sponsoring this video. Woodcraft's been supporting the channel for years now, and if you guys wanna buy pretty much anything we've got in the shop, you could probably get it there. They've got locations all over North America, and their website is ridiculous. So if you're interested, I've got, I think, every single tool that we've talked about this year and last year linked up for you down below. Check them out. Head on over to Woodcraft, or find your local store and head over there, make some friends, but be safe. Now, let's get back to touring all of this absurdity. So because we got the shaper, that means we had to move the drum sander, and the drum sander is actually on wheels. So We just roll this thing around and use it when we need it. It comes in great handy for some projects. Some things it doesn't need used at all. One thing we do use on almost every single project, especially when there's wood, is gonna be the planer. That's what that's called.
20-inch
20-inch helical head planer. And so that thing's hardwired in, bolted to the floor, and stays here, lives here forever. And it's been awesome. Another thing you'll probably notice is because we have power drops here, and we got a 4-banger over there, is the carts with our sanders on them are typically rolling around in this area. The cart can reach the outfeed table or all the way back to the back of the shop from here. And we do have both the Merca and the Festool vacuum still in the shop. I get a lot of questions about which one I prefer. Ergonomically, I prefer the Merca. Flexibility and systematically, I like the Festool. Festool, we've got a ton of tools that go into the Festool line. Merca only makes sanders. So there's a trade-off in my opinion. We did upgrade this year and got a couple new sanders. We've got this ETS 125. We also have the Rotex 125 we picked up this year. So we've got 4 or 5 different sanders now that we use across projects, and having multiple vac sander systems gives a flexibility for myself, Sam, Jordan, whoever's working on the project to kind of be able to sand on their own. And I know that's a question I get a ton, so there's your answer. So we've still got the Laguna 18BX. We're running a thinner blade in here and using that for a little bit more of our fine cuts and stuff, now that we have a dedicated resaw bandsaw. And then we come down in and we organize this situation a little bit more with our drill press, the power-mounted drill press with the woodpecker table, and then this little storage area for this beautiful tiny little assembly cart that some gentleman happened to build in the shop this year. The biggest shop project of the year is easily this guy, his girl, his baby, my baby, baby. It's a 7-foot wide custom workbench. Sam and I built this, I don't remember what month, but early last year. It's a project that I think every woodworker should do, is build your own hand tool workbench. Super pumped that this thing's been awesome. And we've got, a ton of features on this. I've got a plan available. It'll be in the bundle, or you guys can do whatever you want with it. But we've really been loving these vices. Was it vices or vies? It'd be vices. If you know how to English, leave a comment down below. We've got these awesome vices from Andy Klein. These things, they pack a ton of power. They've got some flexibility and variability in their speed. They're just really nice, smooth, awesome. We've been big fans of those. The bench has gotten a ton of work already, and will continue to for years. And the one thing we underestimated was how much we were going to like and enjoy the workflow of having a second bench directly behind the other bench. These are I think they're the same height. Pretty close to being the exact same height. But when both vices are locked up and saying you're doing something that has some jigs and fixtures and whatnot, it's really nice to be able to grab another vice, clamp something down, do a little click tune up on it. And we got those at both ends, as well as have a flat work surface and the storage. So both of these are awesome. This was in our last year's tour, and this is our new girl. So I'd like to now take a moment of silence and remember our fallen comrade. You were glorious. So a lot of you probably found our channel because of the tensegrity table. And ironically, what failed was my knot in the fishing line. It's because Sam's our actually not anymore, but he at the moment was our resident Boy Scout, and I tied that knot. So the knot failed, the table fell. We just haven't got back around to putting it back together. But so we jammed it in the corner like everyone does, and we said we'll get to it at some point. The corner it happens to be in is our little sharpening station corner. So after Sam taught Jordan how to build the Festool cabinet, I had Jordan go ahead and design and build this cabinet. I had a friend that does a local cabinet shop that does custom kitchens, was tearing out a kitchen, gave me some granite countertops, and there's probably not a better work surface for flattening and such for sharpening and at. So we put a granite top on it, and now this is our little sharpening station here. Keeps things kind of organized. We dig it. So this is called a Lev-Rack. I talk about it more in some other videos, and I got a dedicated video to it if you want to know more information. But it's awesome, and then it lives right there. The next thing that's awesome, I think, is that we kind of have this ridiculous wall with a bunch of ridiculous tools. We got all of our layout tools living over here, and these are mostly woodpecker tools. Big fans of those. And then moving into our hand planes. I get a lot of questions on where the hand plane handles, leather strap thingies come from. You can get these at TX Heritage, custom made in Texas. And they're awesome. We really like this workflow. It wasn't what I immediately envisioned, but it's working great for us. And if you're looking for an easy solution to get your hand planes off of the bench and onto the wall, there you go. As we spin-a-rama, mine and Sam's probably favorite addition to the shop this year, and that's gonna be Ron. Thank you, Ron, for getting us through 2020. Now that we've paid tribute to Ron, I also want to thank our fans for sending us awesome stuff like this. We got a flag, American flag that we just hung up a couple weeks ago. Came this holiday season from one of our fans here at the channel. And it sits right above our lathe that doesn't get enough use. But as I promised in every single video I talk about it, it will get more in the future. Skedoodling on down to the metal shop. Before we get into it, I want to talk real quick about this. So last year, I would say about January, Sam and I got really tired of not having airlines throughout the shop. So I went ahead and invested in this Transair system that hard-lined all of the airlines in the shop. And it's one of those things that we use every single day that we just take for granted when we're not in the shop. So we've got a couple drops. Go home. There we go. If I could advocate for one thing that is underestimated in a shop, it'd probably be this. This has been an awesome system. It doesn't require any like pipe threading or anything like that. It's got all these cool little plastic corner couplers and such. They're not a sponsor of the channel, something I actually bought and paid for, and I'm glad to because it's amazing. Powder coated aluminum airlines, and it's just been it's been a blessing to have in the shop. And it works really well and nice down here in the metal shop. So let me show you. As we skedoodle through here, you're used to seeing the metal break, but the first thing that's kind of new is this airline drop. As I just said, we hardlined the air in, and it's been great. One thing in the metal shop specifically is this kind of area here where we use our plasma cutter, and we have a plasma cutting table. This is a Langmuir Crossfire. You've seen this in a bunch of content. It's been an awesome little versatile table that we found gives us a bunch of flexibility we didn't know we needed in the shop. It's really cool. And then we've got two different plasma cutters, both Lincoln Electric sponsors and supports all of our metal work, which we're super grateful for. So the airline's been awesome for that and having that flexibility. And most people that are working in a metal shop or using tools for metal are typically pneumatic. So that's been great there. The next fun adventure is our metal chopping or cutting kind of station. We've got these metal tops, and I built this thing first couple weeks we were in the shop. It's been great. We cleared out this area thinking we were gonna put something bigger right here, and haven't quite got to it, but we do have big plans. We always have big plans. So that's why it's kind of vacant, and we use this for staging and spraying because we've got the fan here. And kind of continuing on down, we've got the good old bandsaw here, the 4x6 welding table that's been around for a long time now. A belt sander over here. Sam loves this thing. I come in, he's sharpening and filing his nails on it, talking sweet nothings to it. It's a good tool. We're super pumped to have it. On another workbench, put some vertical storage in over there, as well as some storage in the back of the shop over here that I don't know if we're even gonna show because it looks terrible. Things that don't look terrible is our little station right here. This is where I sharpen my TIG rods, this variable speed jet grinder, awesome tool. We've got a little belt sander on there too. Then we're coming on over to the disc sander that looks like someone was sanding plastic on. But these are super nice to have really close to the welding table because you come over, you knock off a corner or something like that. Get back into it. We've got all of our welders linked up over here with plugs and power and everything and such right behind it. So I guess the only thing left is our big surprise at the front of the shop. Let's go. So in last year and the year before's videos, you notice we literally built this wall and put a bunch of cabinets in. So when we got the opportunity to bring Miss Piggy on the team, Sam and I knew the only thing we could do to pay homage to such an amazing tool, is to tear down some walls. So we procured this garage, and now Jordan and Miss Piggy live here. This is Jordan, the smallest edition of 2020. Biggest heart. It's mostly because Jordan cycles a lot and he's lost a bunch of weight. That's why he's so small. Anyway, Miss Piggy happens to be our, pretty much still brand new, 6x10 CNC from Avid CNC. Jordan actually just upgraded the spindle to 8.7 horsepowers. And as Sam likes to say, that's a lot of horses to fit in that little box. He's giggling behind the camera. But this thing has been awesome. You've been seeing it in a ton of content since we got it. And what I found is because I can use full sheets, and dump them right on the thing, we're able to get a lot more done, and it's helped me become a little bit more creative. We brought Jordan on. Jordan's been learning the machine phenomenally. He's almost not making more than 10 mistakes per project now. So we're getting down there. We're getting down there. But with that, flattening slabs, cutting full sheets of ply. Jordan's done cabinets, I've done signage, Jordan's done signage. It's been a really, really awesome addition to the shop. It's got its own dedicated dust collector over there in the corner. And the biggest thing that I think has kind of added value to our building repertoire in this room specifically is the fact that we now have access to the outdoors with a garage door. This is a garage door, and this is a smoker. Because we always like treats, we now have the ability to make delicious ones whenever we want. So besides being able to bring materials in and out, the garage door's been awesome because we've been able to do a lot more grilling. I mean, we love it. Sam and I both are big fans of barbecue. We're forcing the rest of the team to become fans of barbecue as well. So super stoked to have Pit Boss as a supporter of the channel. And the grill kind of always lives by the garage door so we can roll it out. And at a moment's notice, get to grilling some meats. So besides a few small items and knickknacks, that's gonna be it for all the new stuff in the shop this year. The only thing left is to give Yins a ridiculous discount. Because 2020 sucked. Screw it. Foul language is appropriate at this moment. 2020. That's been our mentality all year. We didn't want to let it get us, and we don't want to let it get you. So, using the code F2020, you can save 20% on a bundle that includes literally everything in the shop. Every plan that we offer, everything new we've built this year. That's the workbench, the sawhorses, this thing, the, what else did we do, Sam? We did shop carts, all the new plans plus all the old ones. You can build them yourself and save 20% with code F2020. And with that, that's gonna be a wrap on this one. Appreciate you tuning in. If you wanna see more shop tour, I've got the 2021 linked up for you right here.